Hi guys! Today's lesson will be on paying for college. Many of you may be looking to pursue a higher education, but doing that isn't quite as simple as ordering from the Domino's app, now is it? There's a lot to consider. How much is tuition? How do you apply for financial aid? What resources are available to help you afford college? College can be costly if not carefully planned for, but that's why we're here today, to help you start thinking and planning ahead. We're going to start with this video.
Talent can only take you so far. The people who really make it are people who work hard. And if you really put your mind to something, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. I've always been interested in discovering truth, telling people's stories, and influencing change. Journalism is the first draft of history.
I want to be an influential figure in changing finance for the better. And I want to contribute back to society by establishing a not-for-profit organization for children in Ukraine and counseling services in schools.
I have wanted to make movies since I was 7.
If I do my job today, it means I moved a step forward in trying to get something made that will eventually be projected and eventually seen and maybe even beloved by someone. I want to be audacious with my cinema. I want to reach a lot of people.
I have all these things I want to do. I have these places I want to see, these things I want to report on. And right now I can't do those things because I don't have someone backing me. I don't have capital. I don't have the opportunity to do what I want to do.
I want to prove to the world that I can do this, and I know that I'm going to need help. It's not just financially. I think everybody needs people who believe in them.
Every director in history, they all at one point had someone reach their hand out to them.
We need each other.
Who knows what I can do as I keep moving forward in my career. If I had someone behind me, I would be unstoppable.
To know that there are people out there who are invested in me, who saw something in me, I think that could be the turning point.
After watching the video, we want you to ask yourselves this. Are you ready to invest in you? Pursuing higher education is an investment in oneself. Please know that a college education is so much more than just a fancy and expensive piece of paper. So that brings us to this big question. Do you have the money to pay for college? If you do, that's great. And if you don't, that's okay too. Either way, there's a lot of information to process in terms of paying for college, so you're not alone in this journey. First things first, is college worth it? Of course it is, but why? I'm sure you hear it all the time. You need to go, have to go, or should go. It's easy to get caught up in what others want for you. Here are great reasons to attend college for yourself. A person who obtains a 4-year degree will earn substantially more money over time. College gives you the opportunity to explore different interests and make connections you never would have otherwise. Your chances of unemployment are significantly lowered. The skills and future income picked up from college can help you help your family if needed. And last but not least, it's actually a good time. Not bad, huh? Let's take a look at our roadmap to college now. Where, oh where should you go? Which path do you want to venture down? And by that I mean, what kind of college sounds best to you? Here are the 3 main types of post-secondary institutions: community and tribal colleges, technical colleges, and 4-year colleges and universities. Each of these colleges provide different and unique opportunities. Take some time now to discuss the differences with your classmates and instructor. Now, can anyone tell me what they think an opportunity cost is? Right. Opportunity costs are the benefits you could have received by taking an alternative action. Essentially, what do I lose by having to choose between 2 or more options? Take a moment to share some examples as a group. Every year, the United States government offers up to $170 billion in student financial aid. This is broken into 5 specific types of gift aid, such as grants and scholarships, student employment, student loans, educational tax benefits, such as the Hope Scholarship, and military student aid. So, how do we get in on these sweet deals? It's an ages-old rite of passage commonly referred to as the FAFSA, or the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Raise your hand if you've heard of the FAFSA before. Good. The FAFSA is a free application that allows you to apply and receive financial aid from the government. Let's explore some more information related to the FAFSA together. We'll start this exploration by taking a look at some financial aid myths. Give your best answer to the following true or false questions. True or false? If your parents make too much money, you don't qualify for financial aid. False. Even if your parents or guardians make a significant income, every person who applies may still qualify. The amount of financial aid a student receives is determined not only by the information they put into FAFSA, but also by the cost of attendance, or COA. Just by applying, you may receive a minimum of $500. $500 from just 30 to 40 minutes of your time? That sounds like a pretty sweet deal to me. Here's another true or false. If you don't plan on going to college immediately following high school, you don't need to fill out the FAFSA. False. Let's say, for example, that you plan on taking some time for yourself after graduating high school. Maybe you're not ready to jump directly into college, or you need more time to save money. Whatever the reason, you don't attend college that fall semester. But what would happen if you were to decide to attend in the following spring? The financial aid you receive from the FAFSA is good for an entire school year. So if you didn't apply for it prior, you won't have any aid for the spring. True or false? To be awarded aid, you need to fill out the FAFSA once a year, every year, beginning in October. Look who's right! In order to continue receiving federal aid, you must fill out the FAFSA every year. This is done to keep the government updated on your financial status. Your information may change from year to year, so keeping it up to date allows the government to gauge how much you are to receive in aid. Don't worry if you got a few of these true or false questions wrong. We're now going to go over all things FAFSA in detail. You can officially begin your FAFSA application as early as October, so get ready! As you embark on filling out the FAFSA, it's important to know the FAFSA isn't the one giving you money. They just provide the application that schools use to decide how much aid is awarded. The website to apply for FAFSA is fafsa.ed.gov. FAFSA also takes into consideration your EFC, or estimated family income. This is FAFSA's way of determining how much your family can help each year. With that in mind, let's start with the basics. First, you're going to fill out your run-of-the-mill personal information. This information includes your name, address, and social security number. You must prove that you are a citizen or resident of the United States, as they are the only ones who are eligible to receive federal aid. There are still options out there for undocumented students, though. Scholarships, grants, and in some states, even in-state tuition. Don't lose hope. One of the most important parts of this basic personal section is determining your dependency status. You will either be dependent or independent. How is that determined? Well, your status comes from whether or not you are expecting to rely on financial support from your parents or guardians. Therefore, their financial standing and information, specifically their taxes from the previous year, will be required to continue filling out the rest of the application. Providing that kind of information helps in determining how much your parents or guardians may be able to contribute towards your education. If your parents or guardians claim you on their taxes and you're under the age of 24, you are typically considered dependent. That being said, if you're 24 and older, a graduate student, a military veteran or on active duty, married, or have children, you'd be considered independent. There are also other scenarios for those who have just graduated high school and want to go to college but are not receiving financial support from parents or guardians. They should contact the financial aid office at the school they are applying to, which will help determine their status. After status determination, you will need to list the selected colleges you have applied to or are going to apply to. This is so that the Department of Education knows which schools to contact about your financial aid, as well as to help them determine how much you are going to receive depending on the cost of attendance. Always remember that COA. When you first fill out the FAFSA, you are allowed to list up to 10 schools. However, once you've completed the FAFSA in its entirety, you can log back in and add more schools. Let's take a look at how all this works once you've completed the application. First, the Department of Education receives a notification to review your application. They then contact the schools listed on your application. Now it's all back to you, kiddo. You can then log back into your profile and view your student aid report, otherwise known as the SAR. Your SAR will explicitly tell you how much federal aid you are eligible for and in what forms, whether it be loans, grants, or work study. This is not to be confused with the financial aid package, which is the total amount of aid a student receives. Then, once you've officially accepted an offer to attend a school, that school will send you an award letter that will break down the financial aid you're eligible for in regards to their institution. Remember, no school is the same. So even though your SAR may say how much you are eligible for, the school you attend will ultimately decide how much you are going to be receiving. Once you've received your letter and accepted your award, that money is applied towards your tuition. Depending on how much aid you received, your tuition might be covered completely, or you and/or your parents or guardians will pay the remaining balance. Any extra money left over from your aid can be accessed and used for other school necessities such as supplies, books, etc. So here's your award letter in a nutshell. It is received from applied colleges. It outlines the details of your financial aid package. It explains both federal and non-federal aid options offered. Some helpful tips to keep in mind. Review your financial aid letter carefully. Do your research. Your letter is only an estimate of your expected expenses and may vary based on your needs. Just because your SAR states that you are eligible for a large amount of aid doesn't mean you have to accept it all. Assess your personal needs and go from there. This is especially important in regards to loans. Before we jump more into loans, let's talk about the best of the best in financial aid. Free money. Free money encompasses grants, scholarships, as you may know already, and work study. None of these things have to be paid back, and that's why they're called free money. Isn't that great? There are various types of scholarships that exist. Just to name a few examples, there are academic and merit, community service, military, special trait, and special interest scholarships. Grants are based on financial need. Scholarships are based on academic or other types of achievement. And work study is a part-time, on-campus job given to help pay for college expenses. Be sure to click the box which asks if you would like to apply for work study. Even if you decide not to use it, it's something for you to consider since working on campus comes with many benefits. Now, let's take a look at the federal Pell Grant as an example. The Pell Grant is a grant that everyone automatically applies for when they fill out the FAFSA. The maximum award one can receive is as much as $5,775 and as low as $588. However, there are certain eligibility requirements one must be in order to receive the Pell Grant. These requirements include: you come from a low-income background or exhibit financial need, you are applying as an undergraduate student, you are a U.S. citizen or U.S. resident, the cost of your education exceeds the amount you are able to pay, you must be enrolled in school at least half-time, and you must have at least a high school diploma. Now, take a moment as a class to discuss what grant and scholarship opportunities are available in your state. Now we'll discuss loans which do have to be paid back. There are two main types: federal loans and private loans. Federal loans are provided by the government and include the categories of subsidized and unsubsidized. Subsidized loans are truly your best bet if free money doesn't cover everything. The government will pay interest while you're in school and during the postgraduate grace period. Unsubsidized loans are loans the government does not pay interest on. The student borrower starts accruing interest the day the loan is dispersed. Remember, when it comes to loans, you will be expected to pay back everything that you accept. So even if you accepted $10,000 and only used $7,000, you still have to pay back the whole $10,000. Let's take a look back with an example of a federal loan. One common federal subsidized loan is known as the Stafford loan. Here are some perks of this kind of loan. As briefly mentioned earlier, subsidized loans cover interest while you are in school. This is very helpful because interest accrues on a daily basis. They will also cover the interest accrued during your grace period, which is usually a 6-month period after graduating college in which you have some time to find a job and establish a stronger financial backing. This will also allow you to ask for deferment, which, again, is like a pause or a hold on your loan payments. Let's say, for example, that after 2 years on the workforce, you find yourself out of a job. Weeks go by and you still can't find a new job and your bills are piling up. At this point, you can contact your loan service provider and negotiate a deferment plan that will satisfy both parties. During these moments of deferment, the government will cover all interest accrued. However, once you start paying back your loans, you are responsible for that interest again. What is also important to note is that the interest rate is applied after you've graduated. So even though the interest rate was at 2% upon you receiving that loan, you will have to pay the interest rate that the loan is upon graduating, which more often than not is a lot higher than when you initially received the loan. There are several other types of student loans, both private and federal. Now on to private loans. These are loans that are provided by banks and other financial institutions instead of the government. You may need to start paying these loans immediately, and they may require a cosigner or an established credit history when applying. They also tend to have much higher interest rates. Remember, if your FAFSA package does happen to include some student loans in the future, check out these factoids. The average payback period is 10+ years, so an understanding of your future income will help you to decide how much to borrow. If you already know for sure what career you plan on pursuing, do some research on how much you are expected to earn in that career. This will help you determine how much money you will be making once you are on the job and assess your ability to pay loans back. If you can, borrow as a last resort and only borrow what you need. Student loans should be a small percentage of your salary. Your loans will affect your future finances. If your financial aid package includes loans, you must also do a couple of very grown-up organizational things, like completing entrance counseling. Entrance counseling is essentially a quick online course on your loans. The course goes over everything from what loans are, what interest is, what to expect from your loan and your loan service provider, and what is expected of you during and after school. You must also sign the Master Promissory Note, or MPN. The MPN is an official document that you are required to sign in order to receive your loans. By signing it, you are promising to pay back the loans you are given, and you will not receive disbursement unless these are signed. It's nice to note that many other loan repayment dates begin months after your final loan disbursement. To make payments, or if you're having issues making payments, contact your loan service provider immediately. Use this website as a resource, www.nslds.ed.gov. Whew, that was a lot of information. We're almost done, but here's a few extra tidbits. Prepaid tuition plans are also an option for families and students, as they are flexible, compatible, personalized to suit your needs, offer payment plans and options, and are tax exempt. And has anyone ever heard of crowdsourcing or is familiar with it? Crowdsourcing is when you promote a particular cause online with hopes of raising money for it. In this case, one can crowdsource for their college education. For example, this student here wrote, "High school junior who has the potential to attend an Ivy League school. My aid wasn't nearly enough. I have the grades, but not the funds. Please help." This is a cause a lot of us can get behind and support. Crowdsourcing is significant because we gain experience with trying to raise funds and support for a cause. You can also tap into and build and expand on an online community of networks. And of course, those generous contributions will go towards something you strongly believe in. As mentioned earlier, we told you we would give you some insider deets related to scholarships and grants. Take a moment to record this very useful information on the screen here. The first box is the Nevada Senator Harry Reid's College Guide. It is a great college resource guide, which lists steps you should be taking during each year of high school to prepare for college. And the second box lists important and pertinent websites that share resources for grants and scholarships. Thank you so much for your time today, students. College preparation can be scary, but also really exciting once you get off on the right foot. You can start practicing by going online and completing a FAFSA on the web worksheet, which allows you to collect and organize you and your parents' financial information. We hope you take this information with you and are able to apply it to your lives. Thank you again.